Good morning students, this is Anand Kumar and today we are going to start our first English class for class 10th and welcome you all. Today we are going to start a chapter whose title is A Letter to God. Actually this chapter is all about an immense faith of an individual in God, and we all know that an immense faith is such a strong thing in a believer's personality that can shake even mountains. So this particular subject, this particular mentality, this particular belief that is there in this chapter, that is concerned, that is discussed in this chapter, makes this chapter a bit special. And in our board exams also we'll face a kind of comprehensive, a descriptive type of questions from this chapter. So the protagonist of this chapter is Lencho, a farmer who lives in the crest of a hill. Crest means top of the hill, जो एक छोटी सी पहाड़ी के ऊपर रहते हैं, and he supervises his complete crops from there. He looks how his seeds. It's also necessary for a farmer to irrigate his field, and for which he needs water. So he was hoping that there must be a downpour or a shower, but it was taking a bit time. So he was once gazing towards the sky and thinking of the rain, and suddenly he noticed that the mountains of clouds were emerging from the northeast, and the breeze was also quite cool, and he was quite happy that now his desire is going to be fulfilled. And soon the tiny droplets of water started nourishing his field. He came out of his house just to feel the cold drops on his body, as Bhuvan did in the movie Lagan. You must all have seen the movie Lagan. It was quite a famous Lencho had. And so he comes out, starts feeling the first rains, and he considers the small droplets as 5 paise coins and the big droplets as the 10 paise coin. But his happiness didn't rest for long. Soon the rain transformed itself into hailstorm, and it rained for an hour, and his complete field was covered with a layer of white snow standing on his field. Seeing this, he just thinks in himself. He is introspective that time, and he thinks that this is the worst thing he had ever seen in his life. Even a plague of locusts would have left much more than that. And from that instance, he starts thinking that what kind of situation I am in, because this situation was going to affect him throughout the year. He was thinking how he is going to feed his family. He was thinking of how he is going to earn money to fulfill the requirements of his children. And he was completely restless. And soon he came to a conclusion that asking for help from human beings is quite nonsense, means there's no any outcome of it. So he comes to a conclusion that in spite of asking for help from human beings, he is going to ask for help directly from the God. And then the next morning, early morning, he writes a letter to the God. He goes the next morning to mail it in the post office, and the letter was first received by the postmaster. As he held the letter in his hand, he started laughing. He gave the same letter to the postmaster. He also quite enjoyed reading the letter. And suddenly, there was a change in his expression. He kept the letter on the table and he was quite serious. There was a grin, because A man with such a firm belief in God is really remarkable. His colleagues, he is going to help the man some way or other. So he asks his colleagues to contribute from their salary, to just deposit a part of their salary so that they can somehow help the man. Finally, the sum was collected, but it was not enough, as according to the letter, the farmer asked for 100 pesos, but only 70 pesos were collected by the postmaster, were gathered by the postmaster. So he sent that money back to Lencho. The next morning, Lencho arrived. First of all, the postman handed him the letter, and as he saw the letter, he was quite happy. He opened it, saw the money, counted the money, and after counting the money, he was a bit upset and a bit angry, and with a frown on his face, he went to the counter, collected a sheet of paper, a pen, and started scribbling on the sheet. Everyone thought that what kind of letter it will be. Some guessed that it may be a thanking letter. Some guessed that it may be another letter which would express his desire. But as soon as the letter was once again mailed, the postmaster rushed to get the letter. As he held the letter in his hands, he started reading it, and he found that the farmer was in a complaining mood. He said that this letter, according to my previous letter, I requested you to send me 100 pesos, but you have just sent me 70, and that's not sufficient to fulfill the needs of my family and to replenish my field to earn sufficient amount of money for the whole year. So in the next line, he requests that please send me the rest of the money, and while concluding his letter, he states that please don't send these letters to me from the mail, because he don't believe in any of the employees who are working in the post office, and that's the cause he wrote the letter to the God. And this shows that in spite of having hollow relationship in this physical world, he was quite happy with his immense belief, immense faith, devotion in God. And with this, the summary is quite clear. I don't think that there's no complexity in this chapter. And now we'll directly go to the chapter reading.